Welcome to the Travel Squad podcast, where adventure meets inspiration. We're your hosts. I'm Brittany.
I'm Kim.
And I'm Jamal. Together we explore international destinations, hike epic national parks, and share unforgettable travel experiences with you, one passport stamp at a time.
Our mission is to inspire you to travel by showing you how you can make it work no matter your budget, schedule, or experience level.
We bring you along so that you can laugh, get excited, and start planning your own trip.
So grab your ticket and your passport.
And don't forget your travel insurance.
And get ready to embark on a new adventure with us around the globe.
Hello, fellow travelers.
Hey, squaddies.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Travel Squad podcast. Today, we have a very special guest joining us, Jared Komrowski from the flight deal alert platform, Thrifty Traveler.
We've been using Thrifty Traveler Premium for about 6 months now, and we've been loving all of the flight deals that are coming in with points or cash deals. It's been really cool and also very dangerous to see all of these deals come in. But it was really, really fun to welcome Jared onto the show, get to know the creator behind the subscription service, hear how he came up with the idea, get a preview of some of his plans for expanding this amazing service, and we definitely geeked out a lot on getting good flight deals.
And Jared is giving all of you squaddies $10 off your first year subscription of Thrifty Traveler Premium. Just use our code TS10. And with that, let's welcome Jared to the Travel Squad podcast.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
Hello, Jared, and welcome to the Travel Squad podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you for joining us today. We're so excited to talk to you. You are the CEO of Thrifty Traveler, an incredible strategic travel service that we've been using for a couple of months now. We absolutely love it. We're so excited to dive into it. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, we like to start all of our interviews by going way, way back. Anybody who has a business in the travel industry has to have a love for travel. And so we want to go back all the way to the beginning and understand, where did your love for travel begin? What is one of your first travel memories?
Yeah, that's a great question. My first travel memory was, I was 6 or 7 years old. It was my first flight. Going with my family down to Florida. And all I can remember, other than, of course, the flight, was the night before. I couldn't even sleep. And, I was just a kid, but just like this fond memory now running, obviously a travel company, and looking back on the memory, it makes a lot of sense. Like, I was that excited way back then, and I still kind of carried that excitement forward even to now. And I actually haven't thought about that memory until you brought this up, and it's a great memory.
That fits very well with Thrifty Traveler because you essentially capture that feeling of excitement leading up to a trip.
That's actually why I quit. I don't want to jump ahead too much, but that's why I quit my job, is that excitement of booking a trip, going through the paces of, trying to save on it, trying to do all these things, sometimes on a budget. That was the excitement I got. And then I would go to my normal job, my 9-to-5 job, and I'd be like, I don't have that same excitement. I was like, I got to figure out a way to make enough money, doing the thing that I love, so that I can continue doing that. So it's kind of crazy how that all works out.
Yeah, I love that that's driven you to this point. So let's dive right in. In your words, how would you describe Thrifty Traveler to someone that hasn't heard of it before?
Yeah. So Thrifty Traveler, thriftytraveler.com is our website. We're a cheap travel and news website with a focus on flight deals and how to maximize credit card travel rewards.
I would agree that sums it up very well. And there's a bunch of components to it on the website. There's a ton of content on there, like you mentioned, with deals that are coming through. There's also a ton of really good content that gets you excited for the trip, the travel guides and things you need to do, things you need to see. So if you're just exploring, you're not quite ready for that flight deal, there is a lot of inspiration to get you excited for travel on that site.
Yeah, we're not like a lot of other websites. Like we have a flight deal subscription service that obviously people pay for. And then, yeah, we have news at thriftytraveler.com. We have all these guides. So it's really we'd like to think kind of like a one-stop shop for cheap travel. We've got, we try to think sometimes like a travel hacking toolkit, we'll call it. There's all these different tools you can use, and we try to cover as many of those as is possible under kind of one umbrella, which can be tough at sometimes, especially with a small team.
Well, speaking of a small team and what you're saying, it just kind of makes me think of the question, because of course, us ourselves, we have our own travel business with the podcast and other things. I'm curious to know, you told us what Thrifty Traveler was. When did you start? And what did operations really look like till you guys got to this point? Was it just you? Did you hire on somebody else? And what steps did you take to get to where you guys are now? Because you guys are one of the industry leaders, I feel like, in terms of travel news, information, point hacking, all that stuff.
Yeah. And as you guys know, it's not easy to get started. Yeah. Back in 2015, I launched thriftytraveler.com. And, it was just a side hustle. My old job, I was a CPA. I worked in banking. I was traveling 100 nights a year. So I was staying in a lot of hotels, flying a lot on planes. And I was just trying to maximize all this time away from home, trying to earn points and miles by doing it. And then my wife wanted to travel. I didn't have any money. We didn't have any money. So I had to figure out how to do it, on the cheap. And I was telling friends and family all the time, how to do this, that you need to create a website. So I finally did. And then, it was just a side hustle for, 2 years, over 2 years. And then I launched our Thrifty Traveler Premium flight deal alert service in 2017. And then that kind of just blew up at that time. And it got a lot bigger, a lot faster than I had expected. So I felt confident that I was making enough money to quit my job. And then, next year we hired our first 2 employees. And fast forward now, many years later, we're closing in on 25 employees. We're based out of Minneapolis, but we got team members all over the US. So it's been an interesting road. It's never a straight line from when you start to, where we are now, but it's been a journey, and I'm sure you guys can attest to that, what it's like.
Well, congratulations. That's really impressive to have grown it so organically pretty quickly, and especially because COVID was thrown in the middle of that and travel took a big hit during that period.
It sure did. But we spent that time, our whole team, almost our entire team that was even at the start of COVID is still with us.
Oh, great.
Which is kind of crazy, and a testament, I think, to probably how obsessed our employees are with travel. But we used COVID as a time to retool and just like work on being better, because we knew it wasn't going to last forever. And we really exploded out of the pandemic, and we doubled our size in 2022 and 2023. I think, we're going to be up like 75%. So, COVID actually, as bad as it was, I've worked out really well for our team to like really figure out what we're doing and just fine tune things, which I think we turned it into a positive. And you guys know it was, and everybody out there knows how negative it was, but we made the best of it.
I mean, really, that's all you can do is just make the best of the situation. And what's funny is we kind of saw that same type of dip when we hit COVID, and then we saw that growth and explosion as well. So it's definitely happens in the travel industry. But one thing I wanted to jump into with our listeners and for you to explain is we've got a lot going on. We have thriftytraveler.com. We have the free subscription account, and then the Thrifty Traveler Premium subscription account. And I would love for you to break down the difference of what you can expect from all of 3 of those services.
Yeah. So you can sign up, go to thriftytraveler.com. We just have our daily newsletter, which is just, again, cheap travel content tips. It's just, we have a huge team writing, a large part of our team is just writing content every single day on our website. And then the next one is, I'll just call Thrifty Traveler Premium as our paid service. And those are just flight deal alerts directly to your inbox. You get to choose from over 200 US and Canadian airports. And we find deals with bookable, just normal cash deals, we call them. And then there's, of course, deals that are bookable with points and miles, which is really where we're pushing hard into. And based on surveys of all our customers, people are really interested in getting more deals, with their Delta Sky miles, whether United or American miles, just scratching the surface. But there's a lot there. And then we also have a free version of our premium service just for folks to, try it out and, maybe see if it's for them, to kind of just figure out, does this make sense? Because it's a lot to wrap your head around at first. Like, what are all these flight deal alerts? Is this for me? And that's why we created that free service. And that's really, the free service is kind of where people kind of dip their toes in and try things out.
The free service is like a little bit of an appetizer, right? Just lets you know what you're about. This is the best flight deals available with cash price, right? It's the premium that will then go also cash, miles, other sorts of things that you can actually go ahead and do. And I just want to mention right now to our squatties out there, we actually have a promo code here for you guys. Promo code is TS10 for $10 off your first year subscription for the premium service. And Jared, why don't you tell our listeners how much the premium service is for the entire year?
Yeah. Premium service is $89.99 a year. And one of the great things, unlike Netflix or other services, once you sign up for Thrifty Traveler Premium, you're locked in at that price and it never goes up. And you guys know prices are always going up. So it's, great to have customers lock that in and stick with us. And use promo code TS10 to save $10 off your first year.
And I just want to say something too, because of course we've been using the premium service that you guys have. And what I really think sets you apart from other industry professionals and people who are sending out, deals, flight mile points, this, that, and the other, is you guys go through great detail to actually really explain how to go about using it. Telling you like, this is best to use with this credit card for your transfer points. Or as a good example, maybe the flight is on British Airways, but it tells you use one of their partners whose code shares because the point value is better than booking direct with the airline. Whereas when you see other people in your sphere, they really just tell you points, but they don't tell you much more than that. How do you go find it? Where to go? And I think that this is one of the best things that I've actually seen and really appreciate about you guys and your service.
Yeah, Jamal, you bring up a good point. Like, everybody's talking like, earn these points, sign up for this credit card. And it's like, you have all these points. You're like, how do I actually use them and use them well? And that was like the huge bridge that we had to kind of cross, or, bridge the gap really, because it's confusing. That's where our premium service comes in, because you almost need what we call like a jungle guide to like kind of walk you through and explain, or like you're talking about the instructions, like, there's so many different ways you can approach this and so many different miles and things of this. It's confusing. It's even confusing for me. I mean, I get our emails as well, of course, because we have a big team that's, working on these flight deals, and I get them and I'm like, oh, I didn't know about this or this way to book this deal, because there's a lot of different ways you can book one specific deal. So yeah, that's great. It's like somebody holding your hand and just kind of walking you through it, which makes it so much easier. It takes all the stress and legwork out of, finding and redeeming your miles.
I also really love that these are flights that you can book months in advance.
Yes.
It's not just these last minute, gotta book right now, make that decision right now. These are flights that you can book, 5, 6, 7 months in advance, or even longer than that. And you specifically say in your email what months these are valid for, what airlines will get you this flight, what to look for on the Google search. And I think that's really helpful, especially for someone that's starting out for the first time, getting into the points and miles games. You really spell it out for them. And I think people would really appreciate that. And not only that, the amount of money that you're saving on these flights is going to pay for the premium service with just one flight.
Yeah, I know, Brittany, we always talk about the average savings is like $250 or more on just one flight. And one of the big problems that we see or we hear from people through our surveys all the time and just interacting with customers is they're like, I don't have any PTO left. I don't have any time off left because I'm already like booked. All my 2024 leave is already gone. Like, So I know a lot of people book, 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4 deals a year, which, I mean, you think about how much you're saving on that and just your time trying to find deals. You guys all know what that's like. It can be time consuming to have somebody just plop stuff, amazing deals right into your inbox. It can be pretty incredible. And just to start, when you said, yeah, these aren't last minute deals, like that's not what we're doing. We're looking 11 months out, as far out as we can. That's like the first thing. We used to do a lot of travel shows where we'd have like a booth for Thrifty Traveler, and we'd be talking one-on-one to customers. And the first thing people would always say is, oh, these are for last minute trips. And it's like, no, not at all. Like, we're only sending out flight alerts for deals that we would book ourselves. I think that's like the difference between us and maybe other services or other websites, is like, we're only sending out high quality stuff that we would book. And that really is kind of like, I think, our secret sauce. It might not sound like a big deal, but there's a lot of other like alert services out there that are just sending deals out, or they have some kind of an automated thing that's scraping the internet for pricing and just sending out a deal with no human looking at it. And I think our secret sauce is we have obsessed employees, flight deal analysts, that are looking at all these deals, and they're not sending out anything unless it's a great deal.
What a dream job, flight deal analyst.
We're hiring another one coming up here. So yeah, it is a pretty good gig. I will say, as the company has gotten bigger, I don't get to go into the flight deals as much, but that's what I used to do. Is I was literally the guy who found all these deals and sent out the emails for our premium service. And I miss doing that a lot, because I do a lot with just, managing strategy and stuff now, which might sound good to be CEO, but flight deal analyst is a great gig.
And I know we're really kind of hyping up the paid service because it really is so beneficial. But on your guys' website, you have a ton of content that anyone can access, regardless of if you have a subscription or not. So somebody who is maybe just getting into traveling or really figuring out how to use points and looking for deals, what type of other content can people find just available on your website that might be beneficial for them?
Yeah. The big thing would be just go to thriftytraveler.com, check out some of, we have a great beginner's guide that kind of just walks you through like what we're all about, where to start, some content to read. We have a great Google Flights guide, which, anyone out there who's booking flights, you should be using Google Flights to book. It's one of our top posts. Credit card travel rewards. If you don't have a credit card and are maybe looking to open one, especially on the travel reward side, what are some good beginner ones? We have guides for that. And then, we have news every single day. Like earlier today, we sent out on our website a hotel alert. There was a Hyatt hotel, an Andaz hotel in Maui that's bookable with points. It's really hard to normally book. We had one of those alerts just at thriftytraveler.com, again, on our website. This isn't a part of an email service or anything like that. We're just always sending out tips wherever we can. And a lot of those do find their way, at thriftytraveler.com. So there's a lot going on there. And I think there's something for everybody.
So I've seen a lot of the flights. You just mentioned hotels, though. Is that an area that you all are going to ramp up in?
Yeah, so we're not going to charge for it. We're probably just going to keep it at thriftytraveler.com. But yeah, our team is building out kind of a search apparatus specifically for points and miles hotels, especially some of the luxury ones that are like maybe in like the Maldives, or like I just talked about, in Maui and Hawaii. There's also some great ones like all-inclusives. Hyatt has some great all-inclusives in the Caribbean and Mexico. Some of these can be really hard to book with points and miles. So we are searching every single day of award availability. We're not charging for it in any way. We're just posting it at thriftytraveler.com right on our primary website. So yeah, just another place to check out some of that. We're not going to charge for it because we're really focusing on our flight deal subscription service. And we just want to perfect that. We don't want to complicate it any more than we have to.
Oh, that's great. I will definitely be checking that out. And that's a big differentiator, I think, as well from other flight alert services that I've subscribed to in the past. Over there, you're primarily seeing the last minute stuff, the lowest end of the booking rate, cheapest possible. And you all will feature those deals too when they come up. But I love to see the ultra premium, luxury, business class. It is my goal this year to fly first class. And there was a deal recently that came up. Wasn't even that crazy of a points situation either. I want to say it was like 80,000 points or something like that. But it was a France flight on a 40-something person plane, ultra premium luxury. Jared, you're going to start getting me in trouble here because I'm going to start booking trips that are not on my radar because of these deals.
I know. This is like one of the cool things that we find out is like people are traveling to like destinations. They're like, I didn't even think I wanted to go there. And or it wasn't like not on my radar at all. And now I'm going to Sweden and I'm flying lie flat. So thank you. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. We always talk about our employees. We get high on our own supply. Like we are booking these same deals that everyone that's on the service is. Like when we post a hotel alert to thriftytraveler.com, like we were just talking about, like our employees are booking this stuff too. We're excited. Like when this stuff pops up, we're like, "Ooh, wow, I have a bunch of Hyatt points," or, I want to fly lie flat to Europe. Like I'm going to book that. Or our team, it's kind of crazy. And yeah, it's exciting at the same time, but not so good when you already have too many trips booked.
Yeah. Another couple things I wanted to mention that I really like about it, you can set your departure airports. So you're only getting the emails on the premium service for deals out of airports that you've specifically selected. So I live in Austin. I have Austin, Houston, San Antonio, a couple others that I'd be willing to get close to fly out for a good deal. But then you can log in on the website and just see everything, which I love. I find myself browsing on the website quite often.
Yeah. You can log to your account, and you can there's tons more features. You can choose, I only want to fly I only want to fly Delta, like Sky Team only, or maybe if you're, an American fan, One World only, or specific months. There's so many ways you can filter and look at different cities beyond just the email alerts. And we're spending a lot of our team's time and our developers' time trying to figure out how we can make this better and better and better. And it's constantly, we're iterating on that. So not to bore anybody too much, but there's a lot more features that are coming out, and we have a lot of stuff in development right now. But it's great to hear, Kim, that, you're already liking just perusing within your account.
Yeah. One other feature that caught my eye when I was in there setting things up is the text alerts. I haven't gotten any yet, but the text alerts are there if a extremely good hot deal comes in and it's urgent enough to send a text message. So I'm pretty sure when one of those comes in, I'm going to have to be quick to book because it sounds like they're already better than the amazing deals that are coming through on email.
Yeah. And you're only probably going to get like one a month, maybe like one every 2 months. Because again, we're only sending out the absolute best deals or the most important ones. We call these unicorn alerts. That's what we call like unicorn deals. Like these are ultra rare. And a lot of times they're not going to be from your home airport. They're not going to be from Austin. They might be out of, Dallas or Chicago or LA. But sometimes for these international deals, especially if you're like flying business or first class, and it's crazy cheap with cash or points and miles, it might be worth it to fly to Dallas or to Chicago to position yourself to take advantage of one of these deals. So that's kind of where, these unicorn alerts kind of are like, get people like on top of this as quickly as they can, because we always say the hotter the deal, the shorter it lasts. And some of these amazing deals, last less, sometimes like 30, 60 minutes, less than an hour, kind of crazy stuff, which can be a little bit of a roller coaster of emotion, but it's part of the Thrifty Traveler experience.
Well, I'm really glad you said what you said about, okay, it may not be from your home airport, but for this type of booking or experience, it's worth the flight. A lot of the stuff that's coming in, I'm seeing it, I'm like, oh, this looks so great. And then Brittany's saying, yeah, but it's not anywhere near us. We'd have to fly there. And I keep telling her, like, yeah, like maybe the vacation will then have like an extra day or two because now we're traveling maybe domestically to get somewhere. But the experience is flying on business or first, and with a particular airline too that's known to have like premier business or first class experiences versus just a normal business or first for that matter, So I'm glad that you said that. I'm hoping that resonates with Brittany. So when we see those, let's go and like, we'll buy our flight to that departure city.
Yeah. And just to reiterate, all the email alerts that you guys should be getting, you should be choosing your home airport. So you shouldn't be getting an email alert unless your home airport or nearby airports are listed. Yeah, but some of those, the text message alerts, yeah, that's going to be for any really U.S. and some Canadian airports. But yeah, you never know. I can't predict what those unicorn alerts are going to be. It just pops up, and then we vet those deals and we send them out.
I was going to ask, what's one of the best unicorn deals you've seen?
Yeah, so one that I talked a little bit about getting high on our own supply. There was a year ago, there was a unicorn alert that came out, and it was ANA first class. And a lot of people out there probably don't know what ANA is. ANA is one of the top tier airlines out of Japan. They have an amazing first class. Like, we're not talking business class. Like, this is first class. Like, we're talking round trip tickets cost $15,000. So anyhow, there was award availability opened up, and if you have like any of these transferable currency credit cards, you could transfer to Virgin America, which is based out of the UK. I don't want anybody to get too confused. Anyhow, you could book for 110,000 miles points, which is super cheap, instead of spending 15 grand. So me and 3 of my friends, we went to Japan last month on that flight, finally. And again, I'm out of Minneapolis, but the flight was out of San Francisco, nonstop to Tokyo. But it was worth it for me to take advantage of a $15,000 flight, to fly to the West Coast, to fly out of San Francisco. And I mean, it was an amazing experience. There's no shower on ANA, but it's still pretty dang good.
What is it like?
So, I mean,
besides all the champagne.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think there's only, there's only like 10 people in first class. Most first class products only have like a very limited, sometimes like 8. Sometimes you'll be the only passenger in first class. Business class can have 20 to 40 passengers, which is lie flat. But then first class is crazy. There aren't that many actual like first class international products. But yeah, the Japanese carriers, Japan Airlines, ANA, some other great first class products. Singapore. A lot of people have heard of Emirates. Emirates has a very large. They offer a lot of first class flights worldwide. So yeah, but this is what the premium service is all about: is alerting people when these deals pop up, and then showing you how to book, because it can be complicated. But you remove that complication, and then people get the alert. They transfer their miles, or maybe they've got the miles already in their account, and they can book right away before the deal disappears. I mean, that's the secret. You got to move quick on some of these crazy deals. I mean, a lot of deals stick around for hours, sometimes days, but the hot deals, yeah, they don't last long.
They're going to just get swiped right up. Somebody's going to book it, and that availability is going to be gone. So you need to be on it.
Don't pull the trigger.
A little bit earlier, you mentioned something about, in the US and Canada, talking about your guys' service. I had a question, and I'm kind of glad that you had mentioned that, and that is your service available to people outside of those areas in other countries? And if the subscription isn't available, can anyone really benefit from it if they're living in another country, just going to your website and looking at things?
Yeah. So yeah, right now we're just US and Canada. We cover over 200 US and Canadian departure cities. Well, I mean, at some point, I'm sure we will expand, worldwide. Not yet. We really want to perfect our service. So yeah, if you're in Europe, I'll be honest with you, as straightforward, that yeah, you're probably not going to get a lot of benefit. You'd probably just be frustrated at all the deals that are departing not from your home airport. So yeah, until we expand, to Europe or, Mexico or anywhere else in the world, the service probably isn't going to make a lot of sense. Especially with some of the US is crazy with credit card travel rewards. Like, that really isn't true in almost any other countries in the world. So we kind of have this unique ecosystem of signing up for credit cards, getting these sign up bonuses, where you don't really see that anywhere other than the US.
You're hinting at, wanting to perfect the system before expanding. And that's commendable, because there's so much more out there that you could be doing, and I'm sure you will at some point. Is there any kind of a preview you could give the listeners on what they can expect from like new features or your work in perfecting it in the next year?
Yeah, we're offering a lot of new features and filters, like in your online account. We survey customers, once a quarter, all of our subscribers and our free customers as well. Just ask them, what would you like to see? And we have a pretty good idea of what people want to see. So we're slowly just adding those so people can tailor their emails exactly to what they want. Like maybe somebody only wants to fly business or first class. We have a filter for that. We've recently added that. Maybe somebody only wants to fly in the economy cabin. They don't want to fly, obviously up front, or maybe they just want points and miles deals. We're doing a lot on the filter side, which might sound kind of boring, but the great thing is, everybody's inboxes are just getting flooded with emails all the time. And we want to make sure that the emails that are hitting your inbox are super relevant to exactly what you want to do. And I think that's what we're adding right now and really perfecting. I know one of the things that people ask a lot about is destination filters. Like, I only want to go to Europe. So that's something, we're considering in the future. Something that I've kind of not wanted to offer initially, because if you sign up for the service and you're like, I only want to go to Mexico, you're going to miss out on so much. So many other places you could go in the world or even in the United States. So we try to limit, the ability to filter destinations just because we want to keep people's minds open and really get like the full breadth of the Thrifty Traveler experience. So we're always trying to weight, what people ask for, what we're going to offer. And I guess some other things, probably an app at some point in the next couple of years, a phone app. It's the next iteration, but it's kind of a phone app's a little bit of a beast from a business perspective and rolling that out and having to maintain that, etc.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
In the last year with the explosion of AI, my mind kind of naturally goes there. Could AI help amplify your ability to find and vet these deals? Are you leaning into AI at all or considering how it could help the business?
Yeah. We right away when ChatGPT came out, we created a itinerary builder. So you're like, I want to take a 5-day trip next May to Paris. Build out a great itinerary. So anyhow, we created that. The problem with AI at this current time is a lot of the information that like ChatGPT is using is older. So it's not necessarily like exactly where we want it to be yet. So, things that we're looking at using AI for is, at some point, AI is going to be using live data. And at that point, it's going to be amazing. And we're for sure going to be utilizing it to find flight deals, vet flight deals, and so much more. Some of the things that we're currently using AI for and tinkering with is credit card recommendations. Or, everybody has a different wallet full of, credit card travel rewards, or those people who do, or what they want to do with the points. Maybe it's like you, Kim, you want to go lie flat, maybe to Europe or business class. Like it's a goal of yours. Like telling our system, these are your goals. This is the cards I have. What's the next card that I should open? And AI would just, would use artificial intelligence to come up with a solution. So that's like the things that we're like tinkering with. And none of this is like live or anything. I think it might take some time for AI to get to where we need it to be. But there's a lot of potential out, especially on the travel side.
Oh, that's so exciting. Everything you've accomplished in the years since you launched, and then with the addition of the artificial intelligence and what it can unlock, I can see the expansion, 3x. That's my vision for you all.
I
will be enjoying the features.
I know. We don't want to be left in the dust, that's for sure. So no, we're constantly coming up with ideas.
Well, we're all going to be enjoying those features, and it's just going to revolutionize everything. But until that point comes, still want to stress how great your guys' site is. And I really meant it when I said it earlier compared to others, because you really give that kind of step-by-step guide and a lot of other useful info. But speaking of useful info, I have a question for you that I still sometimes have not been able to really crack, to really perfect our point game for booking flights. And that is this. A lot of times you're sending out advertisements saying so many points on this and this airline for your business class or first class. But when I go to that airline's website, their website is set in a way that I can't even try to book the flight with points without having a login. And even if I have a login, as an example, if I don't have any existing points, it won't show me the availability of like, yes, this is how much it actually costs in points to book. So how do you guys figure that out? Somebody who wants to, say, for example, book that 80,000 point on Emirates Business, but doesn't have any points in there. How do you find that to book that? Because Emirates, I've noticed, doesn't have it. Singapore Airlines, I was recently flying Lufthansa and was trying to upgrade and try to transfer points, but I can't even see anything on points with Lufthansa. So how do people find that and do that?
Yeah. So there's a lot of different programs, and some of them don't all work the same, but a majority of programs, points and miles programs. So let's say, Delta Sky Miles, probably one of the biggest ones in the United States. You can search as long as you have a Delta Sky Miles account. You can't actually book, but you can search for availability, because that's the huge thing, is before you transfer any miles or anything like that, you need to make sure that the availability exists. So most programs will allow you, as long as you've created a loyalty account, will allow you to at least search. But yeah, you will not be able to actually hit the book button until those points are in that account. There are some outliers, but for the most part, that is generally how it works. I will say it, I'll be the first to say, none of these websites make it really easy to book with your points and miles. And I think we can probably all agree I think it's by design. They don't want you to be redeeming your points for a lie flat seat. They don't spend as much money on IT as they should to make this a really seamless process. So it can be frustrating. But yeah, we try to, the best we can in our booking instructions, be like, step one, make sure, you have a Singapore account, a loyalty account. Step two, log in, search, and hit this filter and that filter. And hopefully, yeah, you should be able to get the results that you want. One of the big things that sounds maybe dumb, but isn't always obvious, is it works so much better on a laptop or a desktop computer searching for especially points and miles things. On your phone, it can be really tough. And a lot of these websites don't have as many features on a mobile device as they do on a laptop, desktop computer. So we always say, if you can, it's going to make your life so much easier, booking really any kind of travel on a desktop or laptop computer, if you have one, of course.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that, just getting frustrated on the non-mobile friendly website or the app that has removed a lot of the features I'm looking for.
Yeah, it's so tough. I mean, I get frustrated too. I know the mobile phone's always in front of you, but isn't always the easiest to use.
It sounds like you have a lot of experience on both ends of it, of creating the deals for people and also maximizing deals for yourself. If someone's listening right now and they haven't played in this space yet, they might have points, or maybe they're trying to build them up. What's just one solid piece of advice that you would give to someone new to this experience?
Yeah, great question, Kim. We always say start slow. Like, just, if you're looking for it, the first thing is to just book like a cheap, I call it cash flight, but that's just not using points and miles, putting on your debit or credit card, finding a cheap flight, and not to jump in and open up tons of credit cards or something crazy like that. Because credit card debt in the US is a huge problem, and we don't want people getting deep into debt. But if you're confident, that you can pay off your credit card every single month, we always say, open up one, relatively, low annual fee, credit card, like a, Chase Sapphire Preferred card or a Venture card from Capital One, and just dip your toe in, get the points, book them to maybe take a trip that you normally couldn't afford, and then kind of go from there. I'm a crazy person who has opened hundreds of credit cards, not over exaggerating, over the past 15 years. That's probably not the path you want to take, especially with some of the dangers and pitfalls with credit and things like that. But just take it slow, and yeah, hopefully try to save on your next trip.
What is your favorite travel credit card that you use most often?
Some of my favorites, something that's super simple that even I use every single day is like the Capital One Venture and the Venture X cards. I use the Venture X personal card for a lot of everything. It's got some great travel benefits. Won't go into that, but you earn 2 Venture miles for every dollar spent. You don't have to worry about all these different categories spend. I always know, and my wife always knows she's going to get 2X, and that's pretty good. It's got a relatively low annual fee. And I also have the Venture X business card on the Thrifty Traveler business side. So, and all these points go into one pot. And it's really a simple, easy to use card. And something that doesn't get talked about a lot, Capital One has an amazing online interface that is so much better, in my opinion. American Express is a great online interface, but Capital One, they've got it really figured out, and just ease of use across the entire, system. Capital One, I've just been really impressed. And Capital One's not paying me to say this, that's for sure. It's just, it's as someone who's used like Citibank and like their IT systems are horrible. Easy use is really important to me.
Yeah, I recently, just probably a month or two ago, I went through our credit cards and I wrote down, okay, what categories do I get the most points out of? And I do have the Venture X card myself as well. And it was 2 times on everything. So it's just easy to know, you can use this and get double the points than you would on some of the other categories. So I do like it as well. And it's my first year with Venture X, but it's been a smooth year so far. And I look forward to continue using it.
It's great to hear. Yeah, it's working out.
Nothing's better than booking a flight with points, except booking a flight with points when the points you need are cut in half because it's a deal that you got from Thrifty Traveler.
That is the next level of thinking too, because people are like, I'm like, well, yeah, you save even more because the points are cheaper. And then they're like, wait, what? It's next level. It's yeah, you're not only going to get to fly lie flat, but it's going to cost half of what it normally would in the points. So you're stretching your points too, in addition to not spending cash. This is the reason why I created Thrifty Traveler, 8 years ago, is because this crazy value on the points and miles side of things. It's, if you really utilize them, efficiently, you can do some crazy stuff, and it's not impossible to do.
It's so funny that you were just kind of talking about this now, because when we were hinting on it earlier, saying people are running out of their PTO because they get so many deals and doing this and that, I was going to chime in and say though, but are you really losing out on not getting paid because you've saved so much money on these trips that it kind of is a wash then at that point too, right?
Yeah. That's the hope. Yeah. I know. Because I remember what it was like coming out of college, just being completely broke and wanting to travel and having PTO, but not being able to afford it. And if people are able to take more trips, and still have money left on the table, that's the dream for me, because that was what I was trying to do. And this is kind of that's why Premium exists. This is the service I created for my own pain point was, not being able to afford the trips that I wanted to go on. So yeah, I know it's helping people, but it's also one of my hopes.
One thing that you mentioned was that you guys are trying not to do any of the filters to destinations because you want people to see what's out there. And I think that's really smart, because we always say, let the deal guide you. And if you see a really good deal, you're going to go to places you never really thought about before, but you're going to have probably a great time. The hot spots like Mexico, Europe, great. But when you see a trip to Malta or some random island or something, and it's at a great price or deal, I think that's a really great way to expand where you're going in the world and just overall have a great time. And I am a big proponent of saying let the deal guide you and where you're going to go.
Yeah, we also say let the cheap flight be your guide. So we have the same thought process. I love it. This is the tough thing that, obviously we're of the same mindset, and obviously you guys are well-traveled. But a lot of people that, start the service, it's kind of almost a little bit of a learning process, because somebody's I just want to go to Mexico cheap. And it's we can do that for you, but we can also do all this. And then people get emails in their inbox, and then they're oh, okay. And then they'll tell us later, wow, you've really changed how we travel. But we can't like tell people when they start, you need to rethink the way you travel. They really have to like experience it. And then ultimately it's like this light bulb and you're like, okay, wow, yeah.
Oh, well, I hope that this interview with you today, for everyone listening, kind of opens their eyes a little bit more to that too, that they've heard us preach about it for 4 years now, but this really could unlock a whole new world for them. And I hope we inspire some people with it. And I love that, Jared, you're not only just so involved in the business still to this day, but I can feel your passion for it. We can see it, we can hear it. And it is that passion right there that with every email, with every new filter update, it's coming through for the people that you're servicing. So it's been my pleasure to talk to you today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And I'm glad that passion is coming through in the emails because that is exactly what our team wants to hear.
Yeah, my last fangirl compliment that I will give you all is how you write your emails. I love it. They're cheeky, they're fun. There was one that came out recently about an airline that was detracting on some of the benefits from its points program, and you all are calling them out, but you're giving us the details, and it's actually a fun read too.
Yeah, we're not getting paid by any airlines or anything, so we give it to you guys straight. That's one of the great benefits.
Is there anything else that you want to leave our listeners with that we haven't already talked about today?
Yeah, just go to thriftytraveler.com, check us out, sign up for, our free version of our flight deals. And I hope you enjoy the ride.
And we'll link everything in the show notes, the website, all of the articles and guides and tools that you had mentioned. So it's easy access for everyone.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Well, thank you for being here, Jared.
Thank you so much, Jared.
Thank you, Squatties, so much for tuning in to our episode this week. Keep the adventures going with us on all social medias at Travel Squad Podcast and send us in your questions of the week.
If you found the information in this episode to be useful, or if you thought we were just plain funny, please be sure to share it with a friend that would enjoy it too. Please subscribe, rate and review our podcast, and tune in every Travel Tuesday for new episodes.
Stay tuned for next week's episode. We have some more amazing adventures and tips in store for you.
Bye, Squatties.
Bye, Squatties.